Hi everyone, welcome back or welcome to my channel. Fun times. I am re-recording this video because in the entirety of the first time trying to record this, my hair was over the microphone and it was extremely annoying. So if I seem a little less enthusiastic, that's why. I had everything done and then I went to listen to the footage and all you can hear is for my hair. So let's try this again. I'm going to be talking about the books I'm hoping to get to read this month. I have kind of a lengthy list, so let's try to get through it as quickly as we can for the second time. One of the first things I want to read this month is The Woman in Me by Britney Spears. I don't think I need to explain too much about what this is about. It's basically a memoir. It's about her life from before she was famous, through her fame, through the conservatorship, and I believe up into almost recent times. So I'm really excited to read about her life from her point of view. I love Britney Spears. I've loved her since I was a little girl, and it's just, I don't know, she's just one of my favorite people. So I'm very excited to read this book about her life and maybe get to know a little bit more about her. Another book I'm hoping to get to that I wasn't able to get to last month for the Asian and Pacific Islander month is Lies and Weddings by Kevin Kwan. Now, I don't know too much about this book. I know part of it is set in Hawaii. There's a volcano that erupts and destroys their wedding and I think their reputation. I'm not completely sure. I just know that our main character is, I believe, an earl or a duke or something like that, and his family name is really all he has. So it's kind of a Titanic situation where they have this great name that hides all these debts. So his mom is pushing him to go to, I believe, his sister's wedding so that he can find a wealthy woman to seduce and basically be able to keep the family alive. I know there's some kind of underlying plot twist or mystery or something going on, but that's basically all I know about the book, and I'm really excited to get started on this one as well. Another book I'm super excited for is The Last Murder at the End of the World by Stuart Turton. I previously read his The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle. I actually read this book by accident because I thought it was The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Somehow I got those names confused, and we ended up reading The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle, which I really did enjoy. It does get a little bit convoluted, and I was listening to the audiobook. I went back multiple times to listen to probably the last quarter of the book just so that I could have somewhat of a firm grasp of what was going on, but I still didn't. I still enjoyed the writing and I really enjoyed the journey that he took me on, so I'm hoping that this is going to be another great book. I know there's been some mixed reviews about it. I recently watched one of Gavin's videos and he did DNF it, so I am a little trepidatious going into reading this book. But it is about I believe it's an island where this island is the only place left in the world that still has inhabitants. Outside of the island, everyone is dead, gone. There's some kind of mystery going on here, and then somebody on the island dies. And I'm not sure if there's more than just one death. I know we think it's a murder, and we're trying to figure out this mystery, solve the murder, and find out what's going on. That's really all I know about it, and that's really all I want to know about it until I get into the book. And this is one of my highly anticipated reads for this year, so I'm really excited to get started on that one. Another book I'm happy to read is The Familiar by Leigh Bardugo. I previously read from her Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom, which I loved. I really enjoyed her writing and her world building, so I am excited to see what she does in this new book. It is set in, I want to say, the Dark Ages of Spain. I know it's set in Spain, but just from the vibe I'm getting, it's like the Dark Ages. I think there's something about a vampire. I'm not sure. Vampires aren't my favorite, so I'm a little bit hesitant, but I know this has been getting really good reviews, and there's also elements of magic in it, which really excites me. I believe our main character's name is Lucia, and she is a scullery maid who uses magic to get through her everyday life tasks and job, basically. and at some point her mistress finds out that she has these magical abilities, and that's where the story is going to really take off. So I'm super excited. Like I said, I've heard really good things about it. I love Leigh Bardugo. I'm excited to read more from her and just see what she does with this new story. I'm also going to be continuing my Bridgerton series this month. I really enjoyed the first book. I did give it 4 stars because it was a little bit harder for me, and it's not necessarily the fault of the book, but it did kind of take away from my enjoyment because I was picturing the people that I saw on the Netflix series rather than being able to envision them in my head completely from my imagination, with what descriptions were given from the book. So that does take me out of it a little bit. I'm hoping that I'm not going to face that same issue with the second book, because I've only seen the first episode of the second season, and that was such a long time ago, I don't even really remember what happened. So I'm super excited to read The Viscount Who Loved Me by Julia Quinn. I know it's Anthony's story about him trying to get married, and I believe even though he plans to get married to one person, the girl's older sister is wary of him and is kind of like stopping them from getting married, or like getting in the way. She doesn't like him. I can't remember exactly what the synopsis was, but I know that the romance actually ends up becoming, instead of the younger sister, it's the older sister and Anthony. So I'm really excited to see where this one goes as well. And I'm trying to read at least one book per month. I want to get through at least all 8 of the main series books. I may not read the other books, but I would like to read the 8 books in the main series. So hopefully over the next 8 or 9 months, I can get that finished. I am just very much looking forward to reading the second book in the series. One of the last books that I have picked out for my June TBR, which I might end up pushing to July because it does fit one of the prompts for Gabby's Summerween that she's hosting in July, is The Midnight Feast by Lucy Foley. This is probably one of, if not the most anticipated book personally for me for 2024. I absolutely adore Lucy Foley's writing. I was first introduced to her through The Paris Apartment, which I loved. I love the book. I recently hauled it so that I can reread it. That's one of my favorite thriller books of all time, to be honest with you. And I then read The Guest List, which was okay. For me, it didn't hit the same as The Paris Apartment. I was a little bit let down by the writing, so I'm gonna give her a little bit of grace with that because I did love The Hunting Party. The Hunting Party and The Paris Apartment for me are my top 2. I loved that book so much. I loved it almost as much as I loved The Paris Apartment. So I'm sure I'm going to love The Midnight Feast. Again, this is another book I don't know too much about. I'm pretty much going into it blind. I've heard there's elements of cannibalism. I know it takes place during the summer, which fits one of Gabby's themes or Gabby's prompts, and that's why I'm thinking about pushing it into next month. I believe there's like it's well-to-do society, there's rich people, they're having some kind of party, there's a murder and a mystery, and I'm all about it. So I can't wait to see how this book is going to turn out and how much I'm going to love it. The last 2 books I'm going to talk about, I do have the physical copies of. This is How You Lose the Time War, is one of the books that I'm really hoping to get to read this month. It is a sapphic romance, so I would love to read this for Pride Month. It's very intriguing to me, the different timelines. I'll just read to you a little bit of what it says on the back in case you're unfamiliar with this book. In the ashes of a dying world, Red finds a letter marked "Burn Before Reading." So begins an unlikely correspondence between 2 rival agents in a war that stretches through the vast reaches of time and space. I love time traveling books. I love time traveling movies for the most part. I haven't seen too many books or movies that I didn't enjoy that had elements of time travel in them. So I did talk about this book a little bit more in my most recent haul. It just really intrigued me, and I'm excited to get to read it, and I thought there would be no better time than Pride Month. The last book that I'm really anxious to get started on very quickly is Lisa Jewell's Then She Was Gone. I have recently read 2 books from Lisa Jewell, The Family remains and none of this is true. Love her writing. I love her style. I love the way she ties things together, especially in The Family Remains. I have to say, for me, that was like, it took it from just being intrigued about her to now I want to read everything she's ever written. I'm excited about this one. I did receive this book from a lovely person on Instagram, Danielle Reads and Stuff, I believe. Yes, Danielle Reads and Stuff. So thank you, Danielle. Thank you to you for giving me this book. Also, it's very floppy. We love a floppy paperback. I love it. And they have the audiobook at my library, so I'm going to be doing some immersive reading, possibly some annotating, because I know in The Family Remains there was a lot of points where I would have loved to have been able to annotate it, but unfortunately I borrowed it from the library, so I wasn't able to do that. And I'm very excited to see what mysteries are going to be waiting for me in this book. Those are all the books on my June TBR. However, I am currently reading a few other books that are not listed. I'm reading Emily Henry's Beach Read. I just started it. I may not get to finish it this month. It's kind of something that I'm just doing in the background. I just wanted something that was a little bit more summary for the season. And I recently discovered Emily Henry. I know, Very Late to the Party. I finally read one of her books and I really did enjoy it. It was enough for me to be curious about her other writings. So I'm hoping to finish that up sometime between now and the end of summer. I am also reading Ruthless Vows. I just finished Divine Rivals and I could not wait to read the conclusion basically in this duology. So I'm hoping to finish that very, very soon, and I'm really enjoying this duology. The last book that I technically am still reading is Catherine House. I think I'm going to DNF it. I'm not having a good time with it. It's very nonsensical and not in a fun way for me. So I've come to a point in my reading journey where I'm allowing myself to DNF books because I've always been the kind of person that would just persevere and push through it. No matter how much I didn't enjoy what I was reading, I would push through to the end just so that it could be completed. Whether I felt good about it, whether I gave it a good rating or not, I was still just pushing through. And now I'm coming to the mindset of, why am I going to keep wasting time on a book that I'm not enjoying when I have so many other books that I could possibly enjoy I could use that time on. So I really am thinking about DNFing the book. I'm curious to know if you guys have read Catherine House, if you enjoyed it. Should I keep reading? I think I'm about like 60% of the way through the book, so I'm more than halfway at this point, but I'm just not enjoying it. It's not even like that the concept of it is too abstract, or it just seems like there's not really anything happening, or that we're going over and over on the same points, and I'm just not enjoying it. I feel like it's not adding anything to my life. So I really am thinking about DNFing it. But I think that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed finding out what my June TBR is. I would love to know what you guys are reading this month, if you've read any of the books that I'm currently thinking of reading, and what your thoughts are on them. So until my next video, I'll see you guys later. Bye.